Here we go. Welcome, everybody, to another stream. Super excited. We're going to do a hard surface, as you can tell from the imagery and the pump-up music. I don't know about the rest of you, but it's like Club ZBrush. I think everybody's probably doing this, Tien. So I'd like to welcome our guest, Tien Fu, to be a part of this stream. Tien, thanks for joining us on the stream.
Yeah, thanks to inviting me. I'm super excited for this stream. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of chat people are excited, too, because you really are doing everything inside of ZBrush for all your hard surface. All that imagery was Tien's work that you were seeing ahead of time, and it's all 100% done in ZBrush. And you're even
Yeah.
going to touch, you started playing with Redshift, so you're going to even touch on how you're starting to use Redshift inside of ZBrush at the end too. So
Yes.
for those of just tuning in, Tien's going to be walking us through his hard surface techniques and how he likes to use ZBrush, and then finishing off with how he's starting to implement Redshift with inside of ZBrush as well to get his final renders.
Yep.
So it's going to be a very, very fun show for us all. As always, I'm here to be bad comedic relief and also take on any questions that are coming through in the chat. I'll be monitoring that for Tien and sending that questions where I can to him. Keep in mind, obviously, he's got a lot of stuff he wants to cover, but we'll do our best to funnel as much as we can to him and then answer any other questions I might be able to answer in the chat for you all. That's what I'll also be here to do as well. So I say we get going, huh? Are you ready?
Yeah. I'm totally ready.
All right. So I'm going to hand it over to you now and let you take it from here, and I will be just in the background and taking questions and sending questions to you.
Cool. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
See my ZBrush? Okay,
Yep.
cool. So this is the subject we're going to be working on today. This robot that I built most recently. So let's get started. So I'm a concept artist working in the game industry. So it's probably not gonna be I probably not gonna cover too many about the topology or UV, that kind of stuff. It's mostly how I think when I design. And we're gonna end it up with a render like this at the end. So let me turn off Redshift real quick. Sorry about this. We're gonna start from a blockout. So, like I said, I'm a concept artist, and whenever I'm working on a design or a concept design, it is better to start from some sort of referencing. So I have this pureref file that I have here. So this robot is originally inspired by the Special Force team in Taiwan, where I'm originally from, and I really like the mask, as you can see here, the simplicity, uh, and it kind of gives you a mysterious or and also cold-blooded feeling. Um, so I was thinking maybe I should do some design that goes around with this mask. Um, so yeah, so this is the original inspiration, and so I look up in the internet and try to find some other uh, reference that resonate the idea of the simplicity of this design, mostly about this mask. And I came up with this image here. I really like the design of this. Is very simple, and it has some very cool shapes, and it kind of feels the same like this mask. It's very simple, and it also and it only have like limited element to the design. So yeah, so I started out with this very simple mannequin, and we're gonna go from here to here. This is how I block out the whole thing. If you can look, you can look around this guy. Um, yeah, let's get started. I'm not gonna go through the whole body. I'm probably just gonna do the head, and yeah, let's get started. So let me duplicate subtool, and I'm gonna be working on this. So I'll start from the sphere here. I'm gonna create a folder. So let me hit.
Oh, look at you naming things. Look at that. Everyone right out the gate.
Yeah, yeah. It's better to
Yeah.
get to be organized. So normally I will start from primary shapes. Um, so let me know if you have any questions while I go through here. Um, so there are only two main thing about this mask, which is the take a look. There's only the eyes and the nose, right, and nothing else. So I'm gonna do the nose first um, by using the primary shapes along with live boolean. I think live boolean is one of the best feature within ZBrush when it comes to hard surface. Um, so yeah,
So you immediately start going right into live booleans, and I see you're doing an intersect and just playing with that.
yeah.
Look.
Uh, yeah. So let me. So I'm trying to create a surface break here that would give you an idea of the nose, and also following through with the face all the way to the forehead. Um, Something like that, and so this looks okay to me. I'm gonna do but the chin right now is a little bit short, so I'm gonna make this longer. Probably give this a better. Let's see. So let's mask this, and because I'm only working on primary shapes, the surface looks very clean. Um, I think it's just easier for me to, navigate through all the different faces, sorry, surface, and just play around with the design. Um, so yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna cut the space for the neck. Let's duplicate another one. Go to Q cube. Um, Something like that. And if you press D, you probably notice the dynamic subdivision. Uh, there's a cool feature with the Q grid, 24, and you can play around with the edge, like how hard you want the edge to be. I'm gonna use chamfer instead of bevel.
Yeah, for those that didn't see, look in the corner.
Yeah, it's right here.
For the cube, also visually inside the document space, his corner is being changed. If you go where his nose is across, go ahead, play with that coverage slider from that profile view so they can see it again, just in case. Tien.
Sorry, here.
Yeah. See right there. You guys can see that corner changing. So that's what he's manipulating.
You probably here. It's more obvious here.
Yeah.
So you can play around with this the edge. And the good thing about using live boolean is that uh, combined with demodeler, hotkey would be BZM. You know, you can create all kinds of different edges, and the good thing is that say for example, I'm working on the bottom, right? And say if I want to work on the forehead, I just click here, and you can work on the forehead. Then if you feel like maybe the neck might need some work, and you can just click back, and the gizmo is still aligned. ZBrush stores your gizmo, so you don't need to worry about the orientation, and you can go back here and start to play around with the design. And you probably want to spend some time here to just uh, so don't rush too much. You want to spend some time here to get a better design at the very first time.
So,
And say for
question came
example,
in for this process. When you are
oh yeah,
done with this process and you convert the mesh from the live billions, do you end up retopologizing it, or do you just keep the mesh as is as a conceptual artist? Since
yeah.
that's what you're doing, what do you do?
I don't go to zero measure or retopologizing. I just dynamesh.
And then
Does that?
eventually you end up decimating with Decimation Master
Yeah,
for some pieces. Okay,
yeah.
there you go.
And
Funneling questions. Those again, guys, where you can put questions, we'll try to funnel where we can funnel the questions to him, to Tien.
yeah, and you might say that this process is a little bit limiting. Say for example, this curve is like a perfect curve, so we're gonna combine with the deformer hard here, and you can I normally just use two, and you can play around. Say if I wanted a more obvious forehead, um, or you know maybe less, maybe smoother here. Um, I think that looks better. Set. I'll play around with the nose. I think so far so good.
Yeah, I think it's coming together pretty. I like that
Yeah,
you're doing it in the kind of this flow. It is in a way a non-destructive because you're just using pieces of geometry to get to this result, and then you can go to each one and make different changes. And
yeah,
everything's not linked together topology-wise. You're giving yourself some freedom to mess around with the silhouettes and shapes.
yeah. And you don't need to care about topology or
Yeah.
wireframe stuff like that. I'll probably create a middle line here. Let me create a middle line. Better. Um, so this is the big shape that uh, that I have. So when it comes to design, at this stage, uh, you want to avoid stuff like this. Like this edge here is almost the same length as this edge. So I'm gonna try to get rid of that by moving this around. See if I can get a better proportion, not so equal.
Yeah, that's a
And
great step.
also, yeah, I'm trying to avoid any well, I'm trying to avoid any equalness, or is that a word? But yeah,
Yeah, we're artists. We go with it. Any word we make up, we do.
okay, yeah. And during this stage, you can also play around with some middle shape. So I'm gonna go to this subtool and duplicate another. Um, I'm gonna turn into a cylinder, and uh, so I'll try to avoid my personal panel so that you know where everything is.
But you have your own custom menu then. So he's made his own custom menu that that you're using. Do you have one specifically just for hard surface, or is just this menu you're for anything you're doing in ZBrush, you're using this menu you've made?
Yeah, I only have this one. Well, I mostly work with hard surface stuff. So
yeah.
Yeah, so crease this. Try to add in the eyes. And let's see. So there's a very subtle weight towards the middle and more pointy at the end. So I'm trying to do that with the sorry with the deformer hard. So let's try doing that. And maybe this here. Yep, that's okay. Except I'm gonna mirror will. Gonna subtract. And so as you can see here, it's not working for the nose. So I'm gonna put this down around here. Yeah. So it's cutting everything. Symmetry. So it's smaller. Like that. That's okay. And you can combine with all the and you can try to putting all kinds of different middle shape you want. I'm gonna duplicate this one and cube. Gonna make it there like that. I'm gonna use a little. So I'm gonna use Z modeler to do some adjustment. Just get rid of. Sorry, just get rid of this edge. So now I'm trying to adding some details back here by using light boolean.
So you shared in the beginning where your inspiration came for the face, but a question came through that a person often struggles to design, and they're more into creating differences at most ArtStation, something similar to people show in ZBrush Summit. So where do you get your inspiration from usually when you're making these design decisions?
That's a good question. So normally, if you're working in a company or with clients, they will provide some sort of trace that you can follow. But if you're working on your own personal project, I think it's better to filter out references. Say, for example, I have this sort of a cultural relationship with the mask because we're both from Taiwan, and I really like the mask. And that's why I want to create something around it. And I think it's better to referencing uh, stuff from real image. Sorry, real photos, or it could be something from the news, or uh, from your everyday life, or photos that you took. And I try to stay away from our station, because uh, I, I'll try to keep my my mind uh, just
Keep it
only
free. Keep it free from your
free.
decisions.
Yeah, yeah. um, some adding some detail here.
Hopefully that helps.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
sorry if I don't know if that answers the question. Because if you reference someone else's work, then I think most people would easily tell, that, oh, that's probably some copy from someone else's work, or maybe a fan art or something, and you kind of lose that, know, that effort, right? Um, so you can keep adding, this. Wait, you can keep adding these little details here and there. Um, put it back in.
You're
Just
taking
for
this
simple
idea
stuff.
from the other image that you shared of that one piece you liked in your peer ref, right? You're
Yeah, yeah.
taking this idea from that other that piece.
This,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. So you're taking that idea and what they did in that piece, and then applying it to the mask,
yeah.
combining the two in essence to come up with your final piece.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
So you can add whatever details that you like, and you can just keep going with this. More cubes, um, and more Z modeler. Get rid of that.
So for this project, you were mostly using ZModeler most of the time to do all the changes, and doing these small updated pieces, design changes.
Yeah, mostly. And I'm probably gonna add another here. And I can show you the result real quick. Uh, uh,
Kind of living in that world of happy mistakes. Kind of, you're not even sure until you start playing with the piece where you're going, right?
yeah, that's okay. Uh, and this can go on, and right, or add another one last uh, one last piece. I'll put it here. And I like I like the Z shape here. So I'm gonna put that in as well. And this could be easily done with Z modeler. I'm gonna use slide. Uh, just bevel and then something like that. As you can see, I can spend like hours on this kind of stuff and just get a get get, get whatever design that I want, right? And so this will so I ended up with this guy here. Um, and the good thing about this is that, say for example, I'm working on the head, right? And suddenly I saw this edge right here at the rib cage is too sharp, and I can just go here and click, hold Alt and click on the surface, and it will switch to the mesh here. You can just round it up. Oh, it's too round. Or something like that, and you can just uh, keep going on with this. This is too sharp here. Probably get it rounder. So yeah, let me show you some of the mesh here. So this is the rib cage, um, the chest, and with so that's a the overlapping uh, live boolean, uh,
Yeah, that's
and
what you started with. You started with, in essence, an egg shape.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so the geometry looks very bad, but it doesn't really matter, right? As long as you get your design, uh, the design you want, it's good. Use chamfer, right? So once you have, so, hold on, let me go back here. So let's see. So yeah, so once you have the design that you like, and and you you're done with all the design, uh, I think it's better to figure out the joints now, because uh, a lot of those like this this joint is gonna be uh, heavily relate so it's gonna be heavily related to the actual joints. Uh, it's gonna follow the joints. Um, so I'll put up the joints here. So that's when you have to figure out what joints you want, and I actually have the reference here.
So before you move
So
further, you actually go and figure, okay, how are all my joints are going to look
yeah,
like for this project
right,
before you move on to the rest of the higher details.
yeah. Before you finalize it with live boolean, uh, right?
Right.
Because you're once you finalize the live boolean, it's hard to do the surface changing, like I just did. Um, so it's better, like for the knees, uh, the ankle, the elbow, hip, shoulders, stuff like that. Uh, and these are all just built in just oh, that's one subtool. So let me isolate this guy first.
So you pulled up a bunch of references. How do you start searching for the references for joints? I saw some of them were, other characters, but some of them are actually real world examples of robots and stuff
Yeah,
built in today's society. What do you? How do you? What do you do? Someone's asking, how do you search for your references for joints? What do you normally do?
So as you can see here, these are the actual knee joints for the patients. The prosthetic.
Prosthetics.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And also this ankle uh, is actually another prosthetic, and also it looks cool. So I like medical stuff, and also you know if you if you're searching for robots, space, lab, you know, then you'll find something that you know like the real researcher how they work with how they design a robot and how they come up with different joints. Uh, yeah, so these are just images from different uh, real research papers. Um, yeah.
Nice. I would also recommend the person asked it. A lot of times I will go to assembly lines, like manufacturing assembly lines, where we're,
Mhm.
we're building cars now with robot arms. Go take a look
Mhm.
at those things so you'll see how much
Oh yeah.
movement has got to be in pivoting on that. And construction equipment. I would say it's another one I tend to pull to from a lot and looking
Mhm.
at all that because that's also they're making stuff that has to take certain pressure, certain weight shifting, digging and things like that. You'll see a lot of cool stuff engineering wise and those two
Mhm.
things as well. And I think prosthetics is a absolute fantastic recommendation as well.
Yeah, like these references, these are real life prosthetics, and it looks both functional and cool, right? Like this is well designed, like the shapes and everything.
Which
Um,
ZBrush is used to do this stuff too, FYI.
oh,
For
really?
yes, ZBrush is used to design prosthetics. Yes. Yep.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, I
It's one
didn't
of
know
the
that.
softwares used, of course.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, like I said, real life references instead of other artists' work. Yeah.
Yeah, they've already
Um,
figured it out, so you're just now taking their ideas engineering wise if they figured it out and just putting
yeah,
it in
yeah,
your design now.
yeah.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Cool. Uh,
That's
so
Matt, you're
let's.
saying Easter egg? Hidden egg? I'm just commenting to the people in the chat.
Oh, okay. So yeah, let's go back to ZBrush. So yeah, these are pretty simple, simply modeled from Z modeler, and with some IM brush for this for these details. But once you put these joints, once you figure out these joints, and then you put back to to the blockouts, uh, you will soon realize that a lot of things is it doesn't match, right? Like for example, this ankle doesn't match with my blockout. So I'm gonna click on the surface here and that's two shapes. So I'm gonna split hidden and move my gizmo here. Because the shape is you know the geometry is so simple, and you can easily align your gizmo um, the direction you want. Let me try to match this. You know, um, something like that. I'll probably get rid of this. Get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. Um, oh no. Where? Oh, where is it? Oh, it's right here. Okay.
So since you brought up the joint, someone was asking. First of all, they say great work. How much do you consider for rigging process when designing? Like how much the character or robot in the case will move its arms, piston rotation, etc.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So when I was doing my research, uh, say for example, this is great, you know, this give me a good idea of how the joints work, and so like or for example like this joint. Oh, I don't have the reference here, but for this joint, well, like for every joint, it's a good like you have to figure out, what is rotating, and you keep the cylinder there. Like for example, uh, uh, like for this joint here, yeah, like I have the shield, and I have these all the cylinders there. So when I give this to the modeler or the animator, they know where to put, all the actual axis to align with all the all the join. And and like for example, the
Nice,
hand is also the same.
very nice,
Uh,
nice hand.
thanks.
Yeah, you're looking at
Yeah,
it almost like a skeleton, right? Your cylinders are in essence your skeleton
right.
for the
Like
hard surface
the
pieces.
hinge, the hinge joint, uh, you know, and also uh, I'm not super technical with the with the joints, uh, but you should just kind of have a decent amount of understanding about how, like for example, your elbow is a hinge joint, and your knees is a hinge joint, and your shoulder is a ball and socket joint, stuff like that. And when it comes to mechanical stuff, is a little bit more than that. Like for example, like the shoulder here. Uh, so this shoulder is different from this shoulder in Terminator. As you can see here, there are different cylinders. Like this is one cylinder here, and there's another one here, and there's another one here. So it has three uh, 3 degrees of freedom, like it says here. Uh, so that will create a free range of motion for your shoulder, right? Uh, and as for the Terminator ones, it is a little bit different. Like it still have the 3 axis, but it's arranged in a different way. And so for this one, like this is a ball and socket joint, right? And it's just like a ball and a socket, and it used different strings to move it. So I think this one is probably easier for the modeler or animator to animate and to rig. So that's why I'll probably consider these ones. But yeah, just keep all the cylinders there, so that the animator knows where to put the axis. Yeah, I hope that
Yeah.
helped.
Yep. Yeah, I would say what someone's bringing up again is so it's a proxy mesh being used. In a way, look at the cylinders as kind of the proxy mesh that's going to be used from the animators and riggers to move the model. The other tip I would say, just like what Tien was saying, when you're doing something hard surface, right, and we have the shoulder movement like this, we underestimate all of this movement. But now when you're doing mech and hard surface, you got to think, you want this movement, what do you need to make this movement happen, right? You
Right,
want
right.
this movement, what do you need? You want this movement, what do you need, right? And then that'll help you break down on some of the examples about where a cylinder makes place to make this movement happen. This movement happens going to be at your elbow, so forth and so on. So that would
Yeah.
be some of my recommendations as well.
Yeah. Yeah, great. uh, where where was I?
You were breaking down
go
your
ahead.
joints and then showing your joints and
Yeah,
showing your design change based upon your joint decision now.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, you. Oh, one thing I have to say is, when you're working on your blockouts, like stuff like this, mostly what you're thinking is the silhouette. You're thinking about the design, like for example, how you want the head, to curve, like this, or like that, and how you want to put, all the different surfaces, you know, uh, you know, to go across the body, and it's more like a composition uh, way of thinking. So I have this image here. Um, where is it? Oh, it's right here. Like if you look at Baroque period oil painting, they have this really cool composition method called the gamut. Uh, they align with these invisible lines all throughout the painting, so that the audience will feel a certain rhythm, when they are looking at the painting. But these lines are invisible, and you can apply this to your Mac, so that like for example, this line, how this line would align with the rest of the body. Like for example, like this line, like this line right here. Uh, does it? So how does it? How do I angle? How do I figure out the angle? How do I settle down? Because like this might work and this might work and this might work, and how do I finalize the angle that I want? I think it's a good method, to just uh, repeat all these different angles all the way through. You know, um, yeah. So just kind of keep playing around with these different edges. Wait, oh, it's not something. Oh, yeah. Once you figure out, all the joints and all the design is matching with the joints, you can start to put in some details. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna still be working on the mask, or the head. So this is the head that I have, um, just like the ones we did, you know, with some more details here and there. Uh, so I'm just gonna uh, click this Boolean with subdivision, and this will calculate, everything inside your folder to give you a mesh like this. So this is the head that will be adding decals. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of the eye. Just I'm not gonna work on the eyes for now. Be hidden. Um, so at this stage, I I don't I because I'm a concept artist. I don't really care too much about the the topology. So I'll probably just Dynamesh right now. Uh, use the picker 1,000 here in Dynamesh. And once you Dynamesh, as you can see, because you have all these groups still there, you can work on your edges. Like for example, I I probably don't want this edge to be that hard, so I'm gonna select this uh, group and this group, and I'm going to go to masking, uh, and mask by feature. I'm gonna turn off border and crease and click that and keep the groups, and it will create a mask along the border of your these two groups. Uh, let's soft this a little bit. I mean, you can use all kinds of different ways to work on the edges, but this is just how I use that. How I work with this edge. You can just simply
And then you're using a polish.
yeah, just polish it. That looks okay to me. Let me just do it again. And that looks better. If I do that again, yeah, I think that's good. Uh, and you can keep playing around with the mask. Uh,
So
seems
I
to,
think this might be leading to one of the questions that was actually asked that I wanted to ask you.
huh?
So for they're loving the process, but they were just curious since you weren't doing a lot of organic sculpting tools. What was the advantage of using ZBrush for this instead of a traditional modeling?
Well, that's a good question because yeah, that's a good question. Like you might say, you can do that in do this and that in Fusion or Maya or whatever software you want. But at the end of the day, a lot of the project that I work on, they might want you to put some cape on it. They might want me to put some bandage, on the gun, or put a dragon head on your pistol, or stuff like that. And you eventually gonna still gonna have to face your organic stuff. And so I just think it's easier for me to keep everything inside ZBrush, and I don't need to jump from different softwares. Uh, just easier for me to keep everything in ZBrush.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think what you're doing is a great example because now you're organically adjusting this because you're upping the resolution and then playing with
Oh
that,
yeah, yeah,
that softer blend, and then you're going to show how you start adding even finer details, which will go to the advantage also of being inside of
yeah,
Z.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Uh, and it's just more freedom, within ZBrush. Like I've tried to learn Maya or Blender, but it only gets to a certain point that you will realize that, oh, that's probably the limit, for the software. And ZBrush just kind of have everything in it. It's like a complete package when it comes to modeling, right? And so that's why I stay with ZBrush for the time. Um, yeah, I'll probably soft the nose here. Yeah, I'm gonna do a mask two. Gonna get rid of this edge. softness. Yep. And don't need this mask. Yeah, that looks good to me. Um, I'll have to mirror well. Get rid of that. So once you have, I mean, you can work on all these edges if you want. I'm just gonna do a very quick one with all the with all the edges to be softer like that. Right. And I'm gonna add in the cut lines. I mean, a lot of people use. I mean, there are different ways in ZBrush that you can create, you know, uh, a a a a cut line. But my I do it pretty slowly because I think cut line is very important when it comes to hard surface. Uh, I use cut line for mainly two purpose. One is to give you an idea of the functionality of the design. Uh, Say for example, if you look at a any sort of industrial design stuff, uh, like this mouse, uh, the cut line is always very limited to the frame or uh, to the very end of the product or even the tablet. You know, there's very limited to around the corner or like it's always just like around the edge of the product. So that's one thing that you want to keep in mind when it comes to cut line. You don't want to put a cut like right here or or I mean you could, but it just it looks kind of weird. Like if you put something like this and keep adding, you know, all kinds of details. So I will be very careful about my cut lines. And the other purpose is more of a artistic artistic purpose. Say for example, if I just eliminate or I just soften this edge, right? But there is still a subtle surface change, like from here to here. And if you want to emphasize the design, is you can easily use the cut line, you know, to go through the surface, so that when people look at it, they can tell a clear, you know, surface change, like from here to here, right? Uh, I'm not sure if I'm
Yeah.
making sense right now.
No,
Yeah,
no, yeah, it's serving a purpose. Like you're making a decision based upon the cut line serves a purpose
yeah,
to what you're doing. It's not just
and
to put a cut line somewhere to put a cut line necessarily. You're first looking at function of
yeah,
it
yeah.
as well.
And I mostly use mask first. I use lasso because it's faster for me. I can just drag. Um, so now there's another problem. Like this line here is the same as this line, and it doesn't gives you any other information. So I'm trying to stay away from this by adding more detail on this line. Say for example, if I make it look like this, and I'll probably add in a different change here. And also, like this line is almost the same as this line, so I'm so I'll have to create something that is different. Something like that maybe. I'll probably something like that. Uh, yeah. So now this line is almost as the same as this line. So I'm trying to break that. You don't want you probably don't want stuff to be the same. You don't want to tell the same story over and over. So uh, try to get rid of that. Wait, what am I doing? Freehand this a little bit. Uh, Stuff like that. And you can put in more details on the line here. Once we finalize the cut lines, um, I'll probably put another shape here.
Do you have a
And
specific lighting or material you use when you're looking at your model for highlighting the bevels, picking up details, and looking at surface distortions?
I normally use these two.
Basic material and basic material B.
Yeah,
And then you just have a standard. No, you have your light. You moved your light a little bit too.
yeah. I put it here. Just easier for me to look at the model. Yeah,
Great, thank you.
stuff like that. Yeah. Um, yeah. Like I said, you want to keep the composition thinking in mind. Like for example, this line, it doesn't align with anything else. Like this line, and this line, they're all in different directions. And you probably don't want to do that. You probably want to they're more aligned. Uh, yeah, like this line. So this line is probably not gonna align. Yeah, so this line will probably align with this. Um, and this line, you can probably align that with this. No, it doesn't look good. I'll probably align with uh, with this. I'm just gonna move it here. Yeah, that looks probably a little better. So once you once you figure out your cut lines, uh, what I normally do is I would just first clean up, the cut line that is only on the surface that I want, and you can hide points, and I'll create a edge loop by pressing edge loop, and I will isolate the cut line, and I will press Control Shift X to expand the visibility, and I will assign another group by Control W, and I will shrink twice back to back to the cut line, the edge loop that was edited, and
Oh, might have lost Tien. Hold on, people. We might have lost him for a moment. You guys can still hear me okay? I'm assuming all right. Yeah, I'll read you one of the art books for sure while we wait. Oh, it looks like we completely lost him. He might have lost the internet on his side. Well, we'll see if he can come back. Give us a moment. And let's see. Nice Skynet. Yes. So hold on. Let us reach out to him real quick and see where he is at. I'm sure it was probably some internet thing. But well, don't go anywhere. I appreciate you all sticking around and sticking with us. So let me reach out to him. Give me 1 second. I want to start reaching out to him and see if we get him back. If you got any other questions while I am doing that, by all means, fire away, and I'll answer what I can. I'm just going to send him an email and see if he gets an email from us. His internet went down on him. Of course, the timing. Let me send him an email real quick. And I can fill some stuff for cut lines real quick for you all while we're waiting. Okay. Kyle, I'm going to give you his email too. So you might want to reach out too, just since I will, in a second here, share my screen. And I'll show you all some cut line stuff that I like to do as well. Since we were on the topic of cut lines. Why not? Let's go down that rabbit hole. Let me get this over. All right. Now my microwave's still okay. I had to move my microwave, my microphone, so that I could actually talk to you all because it was in the way of my screen. So sound still good? Hold on. See, Kind Wonder, you were asking, Kid Wonder, sorry. How did Tien move that mask, like how he masked from the jaw and moved the same mask toward the back of the head reference? Okay. Okay. So let me share my screen now while we wait and see if Tien gets internet back. Let me share this, share that. And let's change the way we're looking at this. There we go. Thanks, Kyle. All right, everyone see my screen okay? Right, okay, so for the first question that came through with that masking question, he was using spacebar to do that, okay? So hold on, I'm gonna rearrange my mouse a little bit. I wasn't preparing my monitor to be a presenter, but give me 1 second. All right, so here we go. All right, so he was copying that mask in the sense he was looking, and again, one thing I'd point out that he also did is he had perspective off. So that was key because obviously you're doing hard surface. There's usually a consistent going through the whole model. And so you percentage don't have perspective on when you're doing a lot of hard surface stuff, okay? So for his mask, he was using, again, the masking lasso here. And so he was just making lasso changes like this, right? So what he was doing was he was going back to this line, following it, right? And if you notice, if you look at my camera, I don't have my hand on the keyboard, okay? So I tend to do this personally. Once you started masking, you don't need to hold your keyboard anymore. Now, if you hold the space bar, you can move that wherever else you want and copy that same line again. So then now I would just fill that in and there. Now I have that line and that line are the same angle that he was talking about, okay? So that's something that you can do. There's something else I want to add into this with the lasso. If you all, something we added, if you turn on Lazy Mouse, we made your lasso be even more smooth when you are working, so it'll have even a smoother line when you're drawing out. But more importantly, you can actually draw like very specific, harsh lines. Tien's back, right? So here's a little something for you all. Tien, we saw you. You're all set. We lost you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was just kind of covering to see get your internet back. So again,
Cool.
if you turn on the lazy mouse, you guys are actually activating something else you can do with the lasso. Number one, you have a stepping. All this now plays a control. So you have stepping. You can add a radius. So while you're doing this, there's now a radius to your actually lasso. So it's just like sculpturally, this is now creating a nicer line because we're not dropping the lasso until the radius has been completed. Then we start dropping the lasso. But again, once you have that lazy mouse turned on, if you now just hold down the shift key, you can actually move and put a line wherever you want. And you let go of the shift key, we draw the lasso to the end, but then it's perfectly straight along that line. If I hold the shift key again, then I can do that again, hold the shift key again, do it again, hold the shift key again, and do it again. Okay, and again, my hand is not on the keyboard. I do not hold down the control key. I don't need to. The brush is engaged, my pen's on my Cintiq, and then that's it. And I just let go of everything, and I get my mask. So reiterating, okay, again, I'm holding the control key now. Tien, if you want to share your screen, and then we'll get you back. We'll get you back up and running. They don't want to hear me. So then they can come in here again. Again, I'm not holding the keyboard. Look up here. Keyboard, right? See, look, snapping, right? Shift key, let go. Shift key, let go. Shift key, let go, right? Shift key, let go. And then I let go of everything and I get my mask. Okay? So there's something else for you all with what Tien was doing with the lasso. Add another addition, but we're going to kick it back to him because he's back with us. So I'll send it back to you, Tien.
Hey guys. Sorry. I don't know where was I when
you were showing the masks, and then you were duplicating the masks, and then you were at the point where you were going to show how you created the actual crease line, the actual line of the panel group. That's where we ended. They didn't see how you actually finished off making the line that you pushed in. You were you were masking the poly group. You grew it, made a new poly group, then you shrunk it back down, made a new poly group. So they didn't see that end result.
Okay. Yeah.
Look how far he got during the loss of internet. Yeah. So yeah, you had no crease, you had no line, you had no scribe line. That's
okay.
Keep going back.
Like here?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a big silence that I don't know why. Yeah. So yeah, you have the mask with the cut line already. Then you can just, just inflate in a little bit, and you solve your mask, and then you polish by group. This will give you a super clean cut, and you probably want to polish it again, to get it softer. I mean, there are millions of different ways, doing the cut lines, and this is just the way how I normally do. It's pretty slow, but I think it's more carefully done. So, like I said, this line and this line is almost the same. It doesn't tell you any. Uh, it doesn't tell you anything. So, I'm gonna put some details here. I mask this surface, and I'm gonna use the lasso and mask. I'm gonna use layer brush to add in some details, like that. Yeah, it could be straighter like that. Soft a little bit. And also, like I was showing, uh, well, nobody was watching. I like to use this feature called the I think it's in Poly Group, um, and there's a button called Group as Dynamic. Sorry, Dynamesh Subtractive. Uh, I like to use this. Like for example, if I have this work with any sort of meshes. I like to use the IMM brush. So I'll select the cube, and when you if you hold Alt and then you drag in the cube, this will give you a inverted mesh. Wait, where's my gizmo?
Mhm.
Where's my
Yep,
gizmo?
you're good. The cube's right there inverted.
Yeah, but I couldn't see my gizmo. Wait, move. Oh, it's right here. Do that again. Hold Alt and then drag in. Wait, where's my what is it here? But anyways, the cube is inverted, um, and this will happen when you. So let me adjust this a little bit. So right now, if you Dynamesh, uh, this will cut the mesh. This will subtract the mesh with Dynamesh. So I like to use this to add in more details. Um, I'm gonna put this here, turn a little bit, make it longer, maybe, and probably have say something like that. Yeah. So when you Dynamesh, this will cut in, like adding more detail to it. So you can play around, with this different with the cut line and get more details here and there. And I'll probably put adding more details here using the mask. Um, so I think it was ZBrush 2023. It comes with the mask region feature uh, right here. So if you click, so if you have like a uh, closed mask like this, and you click auto region, it will just fill in, everything inside, and it's just faster for you to, uh, you don't need to mask by yourself. Uh, so I'm gonna
Yes, that was in 2023. You have to have 2023 to get that feature.
yeah. I'm gonna yeah. I'll in more detail. Uh, Probably like that maybe. It's weird. Uh, you know, soft a little bit. Some shape like that. Um, you can clean this up if you want. I mean, uh, yeah, something like that. And you assign a group, and you can, you know, push this in. See if this go through. I think it go through a little bit. some like that. And then you select this group and route and assign another group here. And then you Dynamesh again. And I'm gonna polish by group. And maybe more by more polishing here and there. You know, so you can just keep, playing around with these details. I'll probably add more here. I'll probably add more details here. Uh, some like this. No. Yeah, and then I like to use this alpha, get you a gradient. Like that. And then you just push. No. More alpha here. You push. It looks good. I'll probably polish it first. Then you can go, more details here and there. Um, and of course, you want to put in some through here and there. I mean, you can find find a lot of alpha on the internet, with all kinds of different screws. I mostly just use Move because I'm lazy.
Using move with the Alt key.
Yeah. Move,
Yeah.
move with the Alt key. Yeah.
It's working.
I,
Sometimes the simplest way is the right way.
yeah, it's faster.
Yeah, you don't have to overanalyze and overthink it for sure. Look at that. That's nice. That's looking awesome, dude.
Yeah, I think it's so far.
I like that change. I like that change in the cheek and then get along there. That's cool.
Yeah, thanks.
Almost like you
yeah,
could probably put that in your final one too. That's a cool. I like that. I know it's going
Yeah.
away from the main design, but from the original. But I like what you did there. That's cool. It really breaks up things and brings it together. That's really cool.
Yeah, just adding more, just emphasizing the face a little bit more. But yeah, and then so just combine with all these different methods. So here's the cleanup version of the head, and I'll show you the rest of the body. So yeah, everything is probably covered. Like I said, the cut lines, uh, the layer brush, the move brush, and also some masking, pushing, stuff like that.
So it's all really you're doing most of this just all by masking, all the really fine details. You're just doing masking,
Yeah,
doing pushing,
yeah. These are all just masking,
and then the
pushing.
layer brush. You were doing all layer brush with the small accent.
Yeah.
Brush with the little pinholes.
Yeah, mostly. Yeah.
They asked how do you do all the wires. They want to know how you did all the wires.
Wires.
The wiring.
I use Z sphere.
Z spheres.
Yeah. It's pretty. I think Z sphere is probably the easiest way when it comes to wires. Or you can do the bevel. Sorry, what was that called? Sorry, like the bend curve.
You're talking about the bend curve.
Bend curve. Yeah, you can just drag
Yeah.
however you want it. But I mostly use Z-Sphere because you have more control to it. Do you want me to show it?
Sure, you can. Yeah, if you want to, you want to add that and show them, because I think what you're talking about is a great technique. And you can also now convert your Z spheres into a curve and then use any type of brush with curve too. So I think it opens up workflows.
Turn this off. So yeah, mostly what I did was I'll use the move one. Say for example, I will move the start and the end first. Uh, Say for example, I want to put something like from here to here, and so I once I figure out the start and the end, I'll just I would just start drawing, you know, draw and get the detail in the middle ones uh, here and there. Uh, because it just has more control to it. I think it's easier for me to go through everything.
One addition that I'll add to this for everybody is the Z spheres will actually snap to the surfaces too. So you were to draw with this surface showing, it'll snap and be on top of his actual hard surface points as well.
Yeah,
It has that ability too.
yeah, yeah, and so once you have your z your Z sphere, your wire ready, you can just I normally just turn all this off and make adaptive skin and insert it back in, and I would just smooth a little bit. Sorry, I don't want to. So yeah, no, let's turn off this. So you can just smooth however you want. Maybe move further along with it. Right. Right. I think that's pretty much it for the modeling part. And because I have all the, like I said, I have all the cylinders ready. I can put this model into poses, and I'll show you a little bit more about material that comes in with the Redshift in ZBrush 2023. Uh, there's a lot of cool new materials here. So let's get the materials. So I'll show you how how I put materials on the head. So for example, this mask here, uh, and you can put. So if you go to material, there's two sections. One is Redshift polypaint materials that works with the polypaint, and the other one is just the preset color material, and you can use whatever you want. Uh, I so say for example, if I want to put some sort of so let's put a camouflage uh, here. I will import a texture that I created a camouflage here. Uh, like I said, because I'm a concept artist, I don't care too much about the UV map. I'll just generate a UV map here uh, by clicking the UV box. And sorry, and then you have this thing with the texture on, and you can adjust however you want it. Like this is good maybe, and then you choose sorry, let me turn on Redshift first, and then you can put, maybe plastic, and go to color fill object.
You don't have
Sorry,
M selected.
so yeah. You need to put, you need to click on the material RGB channel and fill object, and you have something like this, right? And right, uh, and everything is the same. You just put on, like, for this piece, this frame here. I don't need to put on any texture or UV. I could just go here, and maybe use iron. Let's try iron, and use fill object. You know, and the really cool thing about this is this works with surface, so I can put noise on this. And as for the eyes, you know, you can use material, and there is one called where's the glass? Oh, it's right here, glass. And I can choose maybe red, and go to color, fill object. So you have a glass uh, eyes, and it does work with noise. Uh, and also, you can go to, and there's another cool thing about Redshift. It is that it works with emissive. So I go to basic, and if you go to the material panel, uh, and you can play around with uh, all these different materials here, and I'll just put emissive here, and put red, uh, and I will just assign fill object. And so I will also, sorry, like here I will probably use aluminum and fill object.
Yeah, you also turned on your emissive slider for the emissive. You probably want to show them that too.
Emissive slider. Yeah, so emissive.
Your emissive weight, it's set to 10.
Yeah, where's, oh, it's right here. Yeah, yeah. I think 10 is probably too much. Let's try 2. And so I'll try render this by activating the redshift. So I've already activate redshift. I'm gonna put a HDR. So and in the lighting panel, if you go to background and turn this on, and you want to put in, and you want to press P to activate perspective, so that you have these environments, that will light up your model. You can just like, I download this HDR from HDR Haven, the Polyhaven. It's all free, and I just put it into my lightbox. So if you press, so if you put out your lightbox and go to texture and go to panorama. So I have this, all these, download from the internet. They're all free from Polyhaven, and this is the one I'm using. Uh, and you can just, press Shift R to render this thing. Um, let's give it a try. So the first time you press, the first time you render, it would send everything to the Redshift render. So it's gonna take more time uh, the first time you do this. So now it's rendering. Okay. Oh, I put on well,
Yeah,
this
you're gonna
looks
miss it
kind of
on the
cool.
inside mesh. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, also on the inside. Okay, so let's fix that. Um, oh, okay. Let's assign aluminum maybe. Yeah, fill object. Let's do that again. So if you look at the eyes, I really like the rendering of the eyes, the glowing. Um,
Yeah, so
I think
what he was bringing up, the first time you guys send anything to Redshift with inside of ZBrush, all that data gets sent. And once you've done one render with this model, your time frame for rendering is going to speed up substantially because Redshift now already has that data. So we're allowing that data to be maintained in Redshift. So your rendering will get faster as you keep playing around.
yeah. So like right here, I think the environment is probably too bright. Let me zoom out a little bit. Um, so there are two slides here. One is exposure, the other one is redshift exposure. Uh, the exposure is the environment exposure, and redshift exposure it only happens when you render, and it only affects the model. So I think the environment looks okay. So I'll probably just turn down the redshift exposure, probably like point 0.6. I'll do another render.
Yeah, so again, the separating the slider, there's an overall exposure for the whole scene. And then at render time, he's now telling the exposure to be different at render time for Redshift when it renders the model.
Yeah. And I mean, if you can see, there's a there's something weird happening here with the hydraulic. Uh, if I go here and then wait, hold on. So let me render again. Uh, you might see something wrong with the mesh here. Um, so let's wait for the rendering. Um, yeah. So as you can see, now the hydraulic here it has a weird shading here. The reason why is because uh, the mesh that I have is it has really bad geometry. If I go here, I can turn on wireframe. So if I go, if I
You have
apply,
line turned off. You have the line turned off.
oh, I have light turned on. Okay, so the geometry is okay, but some of the geometry looks really bad, right? Um, so when it render, it would kind of smooth out, the geometry. So I don't want that. I don't want Redshift to smooth out. So you can just go to your subtool palette and you go all the way down to Redshift properties and turn this smooth surface off. And so and I so when you turn this off and you render again, let's see. Um, oh, I have the wrong material. Sorry. I'll apply iron. I'll put on new material here. Render again. And yeah. Now is rendering the actual geometry here. So I want to because most of my subtool has very bad geometry, so I'm gonna repeat this smooth surface. Repeat turning off this smooth surface by go here, apply less action to all. subtools, and you press OK. Then every subtool, the smooth surface is turning off. Right? But yeah, so you can just materials like this, and this is the final one that I have. Oops, right here. Uh, so yeah, you can render this uh, right now if you want. Um, so normally I would start from working out the camera angle. And for example, I'll get probably something like this, and I'll go to draw, and scroll down to store cam, and I'll put like 3/4 front, and I'll go back here, and I'll say another camera, and you can just click store cam, and I'll probably say 3/4 rear. That you can go, back and forth, with the camera. So when say, uh, if I did some render here, so I'll render this first, to give you an idea how, like, once you settle everything, like the texture, uh, the emissive, and the camera angle, and the lighting, and exposure, and everything, and you can just, start render uh, with the lower resolution ones. Like we didn't change the document size, uh, but once you figure out everything, and you can bump up the resolution and do some uh, higher resolution renderings.
Yeah, when you're playing around, I tend to use progressive and change some settings in Redshift real quick just to start playing around and figure things out, and then worry about the final render and let it render. But the beating part here is like some of the stuff he's highlighting is being the fact that we have Redshift now with inside of ZBrush. He doesn't have to really prep the model to go somewhere else. It's already here. So there's no extra steps. Nothing needs to apply. Like his surface noise hasn't even been applied in the model. It's just there showing it. So you don't actually have to apply that to the model and get it out to render with something else. So this is the benefit of having some Redshift now with inside of ZBrush. It really speeds up your workflows. Right. There's your render.
Yeah.
And I think you have your settings turned up, right? You still have like your error threshold actually turned up pretty high. So the render's going to get even better.
The what?
In the render Redshift.
Oh.
What do you have your threshold set to? Redshift one. Yeah. Yeah, right there. He's got his error threshold turned all the way up. So that one slider right there, that'll put a little graininess in your renders. But the lower you put that, the better quality of render you're going to get. The longer it'll take the render, though, as well. So that's why he's experimenting. So this would be an example of what I'm saying. I like to turn that slider up as well to like 0.5, 0.8, and do some experimenting. And then I'll slowly drop it back down to get to my final render.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the whole thing. Start from the blocking to the details, and to texture, lighting, and rendering.
It looks awesome. And now you've been implementing Redshift a little bit more into your workflow, right, to get to your final renders now, because you're staying with inside of ZBrush to do it.
Yeah. So once you get everything ready, then you can probably drop this down, like, let's say 0.5, and I will probably say, if I want a bigger size document, say for example like 2000, I'll resize, press yes, And I will zoom out. And I will drag in my model. Press T to edit. And I can just go back here. So, the camera is still there, right? And you can just, render this. Uh, it's probably gonna take longer to render the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. And then to answer the question coming through about can you make your own materials in Redshift? The ZBrush Redshift materials are only right now for just ZBrush Redshift materials. So you can't take a Redshift material out of ZBrush and put it in any other of the DCCs that you're using. Not at this time. But again, this is version 1.0 of Redshift being implemented inside of ZBrush. So obviously there's going to be, throughout the years and everything there's going to be things happening for sure, right? The one thing I'd also like to share about having Redshift as your renderer is you get it. You get Redshift with your ZBrush subscription. So if you guys are a subscriber to ZBrush, you actually also get Redshift for the same subscription. It's the CPU version. If you want to use your video card, then you have to pay for that. But if you do decide to use your GPU and you want to get the subscription to Redshift, that same subscription can be used in all DCCs where Redshift is being used, which is not just ZBrush. It's Blender, it's Maya, it's Max, it's Houdini, Cinema 4D. You can use that exact same license in all those DCCs. And so you can make Redshift across all those programs as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you have Maxon 1, you can create new materials and all that. You can do all your new materials. Just the Redshift material you make in Cinema 4D, it can't come into ZBrush because there's no node-based structure inside of ZBrush right now. So there's no way it will know everything from the Redshift material inside of Cinema 4D. So the Redshift material inside of ZBrush, we have several of the sliders that you use, but it's not going to be able to communicate back and forth right now.
Yep.
Well, that looks awesome, man. I like the changes you made too with your color and all. I like that. It looks cool. It's making them pop.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there any other questions that came through? I gotta show one thing just because you brought in the Z-Sphere thing. My wanting to share stuff is itching at me right now. So,
sure.
Before I want to show this just so people get aware of the way you were going to with your cables. So, but I want to show this and we'll come back real quick. So I'm going to add this. Cool. Okay, so here's an example for you all. Just adding on top of Tien shown with the Z-spheres, right? So this is actually my Z-spheres. And then you can see the Z-sphere path here. I actually got it converted into a curve. So why you guys care about that is just like he was using the Z-spheres and making it a mesh like that. You can actually convert these Z-spheres into a curve, and then you can use anything you want that goes along a curve, right? So something just to think of. So starting from scratch, we delete this just for you all to think this way as well. You append a Z-sphere, right? And now that's your subtool. So now you're going to switch between up here on the top, your move, scale, right here. These are the two you're going to switch through the most, okay? So I want to move. And so I'm going to move this maybe in a place that I want. Then I'm going to scale it. I start to use the shortcuts, of course. Something like this. Okay, so you put this. And as I mentioned, any subtool that is visual, the one benefit here for you all too is the Z-sphere snap to whatever mesh it sees inside of the ZBrush document space. So right now, it's the head is not, I'm not even selecting the head. It's the Z-sphere that's selecting. So when I go back and I select this Z-sphere, so it's selected. If you switch to draw and I start to draw, you're going to notice, right? It's drawing right on the head. Okay. So now I can just start literally doing this. Just keep going through, switch back to move, select that Z-sphere, and then just continue the process like that. Right. So this is another benefit for you all. And then you can still switch to move and move these things off if you want to, right? Completely move them, right? You can switch to rotate and rotate the whole chain, right? And maybe you want the cabling to do that instead. So I love his approach of bringing this up. I just wanted to add some cherries on top of this workflow for you all. Now, the other benefit to us here is, of course, we can hit the A key and get a mesh. Okay, the A is a preview, and what that is a preview of is our adaptive skin. So I'm hitting A, not like because I'm Canadian and not EH, but A, as in the letter A. Okay, but this has got a density control, and it's turning into a Dynamesh. So I can actually turn off the Dynamesh, and so you'll get clean topology. And then I can say, give me a little bit more density, right? So this is what he was doing when he was creating those cables. He was just doing something like this. I'm just adding something for you all on top of this now, that instead of doing this as well, you can then come up here to the stroke menu, and there's a menu that lives here. It's called Curves Helper. This ships with ZBrush. Okay, and there's options here. The one that's very nice is, first of all, this. So, for example, when I hit A, you can see the tubing's different sizes, because me as an artist, I didn't draw out the exact same size of the Z-sphere. So what is very nice is these Z-spheres, okay, you can tell it to scale based upon your draw size. So I can say, let's put the draw size about there. And then now go to stroke and say scale the Z-spheres, and see they all get matched to that draw size. So you guys can actually resize your whole chain by just changing your draw size. And I think for what he was showing, this is really important, because how big of cabling, in essence, do you want? Just change your draw size, and then you're off and running, and boom. Okay, super simple. Yeah, hopefully everyone's with me. Okay, now the addition is you can copy this chain. Okay, so I can say copy that chain, and you can see Z-sphere chain has been copied. And then I can say in that same menu, okay, I want you to create a curve and append it as a new subtool. So when I click this, it now created a new subtool that is now that chain has been converted into a curve. And then, of course, now you as an artist can grab any curve, right? So I can even, I'm a massive, huge fan now of these profile curves, because think about your cabling. You can grab any one of these and just, boom, you got different types of cabling. Do you want it to be a cylinder? Do you want to have some kind of pattern in it? So now you just click any one of these, and then boom, like this is the kind of stuff that really gets me. Look, this has got gaps. It's actually got 3 cables in there. You can do something like that. Like it really opens up your workflow and you as an artist, what you're going to be able to do, right? See, there's 2 pieces there, right? It becomes really, really beneficial. And so you can change the size now. Again, change your draw size. And now you've got a curve that you can even continue to even now edit this. So it just opens up so many more things for you as well. And I think this is kind of one of our goals is with ZBrush is we're trying to think artistically, think about, hey, if we did this and this would be amazing. Okay. So just adding, again, a little whipped cream and cherry on top of what Tien already did. I just had to share that because I love it.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
His approach.
I don't think I tried that before. I definitely gonna implement this to my new workflow.
Yeah, I think it's one of those little hidden ones that people aren't using. That's kind of why I wanted to share it. I really wanted to share it because I think that's old. It's been there for a long time. That's not new.
Oh,
that's been there. I want to say we put that in maybe 4 or 8, maybe 2018. So it's been there for probably about 5 to 6 years. I'm not sure about the exact same, but it's been there for a long time. That's kind of the only reason why I kind of wanted to highlight it for everybody.
Cool. Yeah, it's awesome.
So just something else to add into that fun workflow. So Tien, man, thank you for being a part of this and showing your workflow and showing how your process that you're working within ZBrush and doing what you do for HeartSurface. It was amazing to watch you work live and how fast you were working to get to your results as well.
Yeah, it's faster than I expected. I thought it's gonna be longer, but it turns out faster. Yeah, but thank you for inviting me to this.
No, watching what you're putting on ZBrush Central and Cyberpace is like we got to get Tien in a stream so everyone can see what you're doing. I think
Oh, I
And I
really
like to point out
appreciate
people,
that.
it's like in the middle of the morning for him too. So again, an extra thank you so much for
Yeah,
being
thanks.
with us so early in the morning for you as well.
No problem.
Um,
No problem.
really, really, it was a lot of fun for me. And I thought it was awesome just watching you work. And I know a lot of people really enjoyed seeing you work as well.
Thank you.
This will be available for you all to rewatch. It'll be immediately on our YouTube channel, our Twitch channel. So you guys, I encourage you to go back and rewatch that as much as you want. And I saw Kyle's or restream just this T-shirt I'm wearing. You guys can get one of these for free if you want. You just have to pay for shipping. We can't do anything about the shipping, but you can get the T-shirt for free. This is an example of one of them. So it's just got placed in the chat above, right? So just want to add that. So anything additional you want to add, Tien, before we call say goodbye to everybody?
No, nothing else except for definitely try it out. Redshift render in ZBrush 2023 is one of the best updates so far, I think. Yeah.
Nice. Great. Well, I want to thank you again. This has been another ZBrush live stream. I'm Paul Gaboury, and our special guest was Tien Fu. I really appreciate for you all joining in, and hopefully we'll see you at the next stream. Have a great afternoon, evening, or early in the morning, wherever you are in the world. Have a great day.
Bye.